Sam, you're literally Frodo right now.
He's the hero.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Gollum's Gamers and to the August edition of MESBG Monthly, which is a series where myself and Ali, who joins me today for the Spotify listeners, aim to keep you updated on all things MESBG from the previous and upcoming month. Now, at the end of the episode, we'll be answering a question from the audience. So if there's a question that comes to mind throughout the episode that you'd like answered for next time, then be sure to leave it down in the comment section here on YouTube. But before we get underway, I wanted to remind you all that tickets for our very first tournament, the Lemon Cup, are now live. So for more details, I will leave the link to the event page, as well as the preview podcast that we did to talk about the event in a bit more detail, down in the description. So be sure to go and check it out and get your Lemon Cup tickets. Also, next weekend on the 16th and 17th of August, I will be live streaming at Ardicon. So Ardicon, if you aren't familiar, is arguably the biggest international MESBG tournament in the world. It's a pretty iconic tournament, would you say, Ali? It's very well known, sort of around the world.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was. I don't know what year this is now. It's probably like year 10 or something like of it.
Yes, I wasn't sure if it was the longest running. I don't know.
Oh no, there's definitely going to be some of the Italians or the Spanish or the Polish will definitely be like, we've got a bigger and a longer running one. So I mean they can comment below and let us know.
Yeah, international event, but like there was the old ETC and stuff.
It's definitely probably the most famous, other than maybe Nova Open, depending on which way you want to go with it.
Sure.
But yeah,
fine. So you've probably heard of Ardicon before. So I will be there all weekend, live streaming some games from the event here on our YouTube channel. So very, very excited for this one. I'll be promoting it as I have been over the next couple of weeks. But yeah, it's going to be a great weekend of Tournament SBG. So I really do hope to see you all over on the stream on the 16th and 17th of August. But as always, you can find us on Instagram and Spotify by following the links in the description down below. And also please consider subscribing to us here on YouTube, as a large proportion of people watching aren't currently subscribed. So please do, if you enjoy everything that we do here on the channel. So kicking things off with the first GBHL 100 tournament from last month, we are going to be taking a look at the Guardians call to Rivendell, which I was in attendance at with lots of the boys. It was good to catch up with everyone. It's been a while since we've had quite such a large group at a tournament, which was nice. And in first place, for the Spotify listeners, it was our very own Jay Achaya with Baradur, who brought home the 100 points for the team, which we very much needed in our race for the teams award this year. So that was very much needed from Jay indeed. And in second place, we had Connor Morris using his Halls of Thranduil, which he's used a hell of a lot this year, which we will come on to. And then David Farmer once again on a GBHL 100 podium with the Depths of Moria once again. But kicking things off with Jay, Baradur, 2 models in this list. The Dark Lord Sauron himself. This is a 550 point tournament. Sauron and a Mordor Troll Chieftain. So, Ali, thoughts on this one? Now, Jay did actually send me a breakdown of his games, so for those of you wondering, how on earth could he win a GBHL 100, 7 games as well? He went 7-0 with 2 models in his list. Well, I will tell you how he got that done. But, Ali, what are your initial thoughts?
I mean, it's such a J list.
So he totally so Jay, for anyone that doesn't know, is terrible at submitting lists. He will just never do it. He's really, really busy. So I was asking him for his list for the preview pod that we did, or the list review pod that we did, and he hadn't submitted one. So he said, I'll probably just submit Sauron or something, just a meme. I don't really care. I just want to go to the tournament. I'll just meme it. And then he won the tournament with Sauron and a Troll Chieftain. So very Jay.
Yeah, he's an A&E doctor, so I suppose we could cut him some slack.
Yeah, well, yes. Okay. Yes.
But, I mean, it's one of these weird lists where it's really hard to talk about it because there's only 2 models in it.
Well, why don't I tell you how his games went then, and then you could give me your reaction? How about that?
Actually, before that, I'll go through instinctively.
Okay.
Any scenario which requires you killing and breaking the enemy, this will obviously do well at, because at 550 points especially, it's hard enough to kill a Troll Chieftain, let alone Sauron as well. So
Sauron.
He's going to go into most games, probably not concede leader points, and won't concede breaking points. So it's there going.
Yes. So,
on average, 6 points in every scenario, plus you're not conceding.
And one thing you mentioned as well is that you can't break the list until you kill Sauron because it's only 2 models. So you have to kill both in order to get break VPs. And you can't kill Sauron.
And to be fair, it's better at objectives than you think it would be, because Sauron and the Troll Chief now have their dominant specials, so they're dominant. I can't remember actually exactly, but is it 5 for Sauron?
5, yeah.
And the Troll Chief is 3 or
4,
something. 4.
Or the Gundabad Trolls 4. Oh no, they've got 4 moves. I think one of the trolls is 4.
I could look it up. If you continue filling,
sure. Yes. So one thing worth noting before we run through the games is that obviously
dominant 4.
Dominant 4. Thought so. Yeah. So obviously now there's loads of banner scenarios. There's like 9. I was complaining, wasn't I, in one of our other pods at how many there are. But he only played 1 banner scenario over all 7 games, which is obviously quite a big advantage. And I guess over 7 games with 24 scenarios, he should have played, I think, 3 on average. I think with 9 banner scenarios, he should have.
I think it just showed. Well, I don't know whether he should have played 3, because to be fair, it's the way the pool system works and stuff like that. But,
I think even maybe 2 or 3, and he only played 1.
Sauron and the Troll Chief are more adept at being able to take out banners, because Sauron
Sauron
just kill a model, or you can barge and split them up and hell and whatnot. So,
but that could be something like I played against Depths, for example, and I had my 2 banners in my scouts, and I just split them and hit them. Obviously, the Balrog's not as able to deal with them, but it helped me in that sort of matchup. So.
But back to what I was on about though, it's better at objectives than you think, because one, you're dominant 4 and 5, and also when you break your army, they will start running, and with the Sauron's like massive range of courage debuff, and you're only playing at 550 points, Sauron can probably take out a lot of the key heroes or transfix or immobilize them, and the enemy can and will often run. So as long as it's not random game end, you can probably do all right at these points for a bit.
Yes. So
Sauron's dominant 10, by the way.
10? Oh, sheesh. Okay, what's 5? Something is 5. I don't know what. Okay. Let me tell you what happened briefly in his game. So, game 1, he played Sights of Power versus the 3 Trolls. So, you've got Sauron and a Troll Chieftain against the 3 Trolls. You can imagine how that went. Jay killed all 3 Trolls, and he won the game. So, Sights of Power, obviously, it's about the sights, but there was only 5 models on the board. So, Jay killed all 3 Trolls. And that was it. He's got magic and a Troll Chieftain. Fair enough. Game 2, he played Divide and Conquer against Corsairs, which was a 40 model list with 14 crossbows and a ballista. So the Troll Chieftain ended up dying to the shooting, but Sauron had the middle objective, which is obviously the most important thing in Divide and Conquer, and he quartered the Corsairs. So he won. Fair enough. Quartering with only 2 models. There you go. Game 3, he played Convergence. We played lots of the new scenarios this weekend against Defenders of the Hornburg, which was Dave Clubley's list that we looked at in the list review pod, which was 40 models with Hera and 2 Rohan captains. Jay said that this was his luckiest win. He got very lucky because the game didn't end for 5 turns on the roll of a 1 or a 2. So that's what Ali was saying. Jay killed the entire army, and then to actually win the game, or I'm not sure if he needed to do this to win, but in the last sort of turn, he had killed the entire army. And then in Convergence, you have to have the relics or whatever they are within, I think it's 6 inches of the middle. So Sauron picked up Hera and hurled her and her 3 objectives out of 6 inches of the center of the board. So then he just picked her up and just went, lol, and just, hurled her away. So, because as he'd been killing all the models with the objectives, Clubley had been passing them to Hera. So now Hera was just on her own with 3 objectives, and then Sauron went, no, and just threw her away. So there you go. So that was Convergence, and he got the win there. So he's 3-0 into the last game on day 1, game 4 against Luke Hilda in Lords of Battle versus Lothlorien. So you can imagine how that
It's
one
not
went.
the scenario, Luke.
They were playing on the table next to me. And in the Lothlorien list, he had no Galadriels, like even no magic to try and slow something down. So he tried to sort of skirmish and everything, but yeah, he took the loss there. So 4-0 day one, and no one expected to see that. Then he went into day two. Game 5 was Treasure Hoard versus the Eagles with the 6 objectives sort of thing. So both of them basically had 3 objectives, their sort of home ones. Sauron kept on compelling and killing some of the regular Eagles. So the Eagle player then went, oh, I have to sort of commit to actually trying to kill you here. So they did eventually end up killing the Troll Chieftain, but then the turn after that, Sauron managed to get onto Gwaihir, kill Gwaihir, and the final Eagle as well. So the game ended because the Eagles were quartered. So that was Treasure Hoard. Game 6, 5-0 now, was against our very own Sam Grattan in Stake a Claim. So this was Sam's double dragon list that we talked about in the list review pod. Both of Sam's dragons had Fly, and then the leader had Breathe Fire. So what Jay said, so Stake a Claim, which one is Stake a Claim? Do you remember? Can you check very quickly? It might come to me as I read my... So Jay... charged in with Sauron, did 5 wounds on the dragon that was Sam's leader, as the other dragon had failed a terror test to charge that turn, so it was just the Troll Chieftain and Sauron on 1 dragon, so that's quite unfortunate for that second dragon of Sam's. Sam rolled really, really badly for the Fate, and then ended up failing a Survival Instincts Courage test, so that dragon fled, which then left Chieftain and Sauron on 1 dragon. Jay charged that dragon, who then also ended up failing a courage test after wounds were dealt. So that dragon also just fled. So a pretty terrible matchup, Sam was saying. Obviously, Sam was also doing very well at in the tournament at this point as well. Just a rough matchup and a pretty good matchup for Jay. Have you seen what scenario that one was?
I've just got that. So Stake a Claim is... It's the like diamond-shaped objectives. So 12-inch deployment.
You pick them up.
And
I played this scenario.
Oh, it's the fortification points one.
Oh yeah, where you walk up to it. Oh yeah, fine. So they weren't really that. Yeah, so they probably weren't really that relevant. I imagine maybe Jay left
probably
the troll and Sam left a dragon on the home ones.
Was this against Sam's dragons?
Yes. Yeah. And then they just met.
It's one where if either of them had played an army with normal model count, probably would have been the worst scenario for him to play.
Yes, but they played each other.
Ways.
Yeah. But for Sam, it was still just super bad. So the dragons just failed the courage tests. Sam rolled really badly on his fate and things as well. But yeah, so the dragons fled. So Jake now 6-0 going into final game into the death against Jakob's Ravages. Or is it Ravagers? Ravages? I don't know.
Ravagers.
Ravagers, I wrote that wrong. List that we also looked at in the preview pod, which was Golfinball, 2 Orc Captains, and a Shaman, and it was a 52 model list into the death. So Jakob obviously hid his heroes and his banner at the very back of the board. The terrain was like really cursed as well. There was loads of terrain on the board, and then basically he had all of his orcs, his whole army basically further up the board to try and block off Jay. The Troll Chieftain, Jay said, did actually end up killing loads and loads of models, but eventually died. Sauron's killing was actually kind of slow, as Jakob was just like feeding him an orc a turn, but he ended up bringing his shaman closer to Sauron for the Fury. At this point, Jay was losing 6-5, but then he managed to chill soul and hurl into the shaman to try and kill it. And he did kill it. So now they were drawing 6-6 as you get a point for killing a hero. Then the captain ran away once he was broken because he had no fury, and Jay quartered him as well. So that was how he managed to get the win there against Jakob. So 7-0. There you go. That is how you win with Barad-dûr, and so there's definitely some matchup luck and things. Also, just one thing to mention is that he played 3 of the 7 games was against like monsters, and they're pretty good into like monsters, Sauron and
So one thing I'll point out is it may sound unusual to play that many games against monsters, but
new edition, baby.
In tournaments, I don't know how many people took monsters going, but out of like the 50 odd, it was probably 10. something
I
like
think
that.
in the top 10, there was quite a lot of monsters lists. So
But what will happen is because a lot of those scenarios favoured monsters early on day one, and like good players will they'll end up progressing, and then they get to the point like when Sam and Jay played each other, where it should be a scenario that most monster players lose, but because they've had the favourable
both done
scenarios,
well.
they then actually get to play the best people that they could have, which is the other monster players.
I mean, I'm not so sure how much those scenarios on day one really favour the monsters. I think it's when you have a monster, like if there's just
at low
a troll,
points they do often.
Yeah, I think that specific monster in Sauron where it's so hard for anything to deal with at that low points, you can't get the break VPs and stuff. I think like Jay actually said, I think he was talking about taking it to Ardacon, or I asked him, and he said no, because then you can break. The fact that you cannot physically break Jay's list until you kill Sauron, there's no way you can do it. It just means
I think you can get away with it though, because of where you can't break the army anyway, unless if you do half the wounds on Sauron.
Yeah, but it's just like you could gang up and try it.
Yeah. But he's protecting so many points in each side. But it's the kind of thing that I think where you got good players who are using monsters at low points where it's very hard to counter. It then means when they get to the really bad scenarios, they're actually just playing each other.
Yes.
And then so the one game that you would normally assume that they would lose, half of them don't lose, and then
so day two, he played 2 monster lists. He played the Eagles and Sam's Dragons, and then I guess the game against Jakob, you would think, to the death, he's got to walk towards him. But he doesn't have any shooting, so like okay, and then it's just orcs. I think the Troll Chieftain kind of went pretty silly nervous, but like you would think Jakob could just stall and then win on hero and banner VPs. But
I mean, it's kind of one of those ones where when you've only got 2 models as well, it turns out you're going to be getting such a high rate of turns.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's where just the attrition of the list comes in.
Snowballs.
You may kill eventually the Troll Chief, but it's there going. Tonight, like to the death, Sauron's not going to die to that army without some incredibly bad luck.
And with Sauron, you've got kind of the ranged ability to reach out and kill the shaman and take away the fury for an orc list. Is really,
eventually
really
you wear them down, and then they just run. So
so that's how we did it. Let us know what you think. Are you going to be taking Sauron to your next 550 point tournament? God, we're going to screw up the the GBHL tournament scene here. Everyone's going to be playing Sauron. Joel Chieftain. There you go. So moving on to Connor Morris in second place. What do you think? Getting another GBHL 100 podium for him with Halls?
Yeah, Connor's been collecting a few. I don't think he hasn't won one yet. Although he's probably like...
Has he podiumed with Halls before, though? I didn't know if he'd done it with...
I'm pretty sure he has.
Okay, yeah. I don't know if he used something else.
I'm going to say yes. And Connor can take the additional podium even if he hasn't.
Take it, Connor.
But no, Connor's been hanging around like this year. He's a newish player to the scene now in terms of comparatively.
Yeah.
And he's been sort of
doing very, very well.
Sniffing at the heels, I guess, of the old guard, as you may want to call them. So yeah, Halls of Frangel was really solid. It's quite interesting he did well with it, because usually at low points you're looking at either the monster list like Barada or the horde list, a bit more like sort of what Club League took with or Jakob took in the sort of games that we mentioned.
You would not instinctively think that this is a list that could podium a 100. Not that it couldn't, but like you wouldn't expect to see it in a prediction probably before the event.
I think it's just solid, and like it can
I think
deal.
It was just Thranduil and Leggy. I think.
It can deal with most things at those points, and assuming you don't get shot off the board, you do have fight 7, and like I'm presuming because now you can have the sentinels and stuff like that. That may have helped deal with some of the monster lists or some of the objectives and stuff like that. But it's. I would say Halls of Frangel is very, very solid list, and arguably one of the best in the game once you go above 700.
Did he have a sentinel? Yes, he had a sentinel and 2 knights as well in there.
Was the model count?
It doesn't.
26 or something like that.
9, 11, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, I think 27.
27, yeah.
I think,
which isn't bad for an elite style list, but obviously you're on the lower end.
So he got 6 wins and a draw. He only, Oh no, sorry, 6 wins and a loss. He only lost to Denby's Eagles, but then he beat the Fiefdoms, Assault on Helm's Deep, Usurpers from Wiggins, the Grey Company, Kirathungor, and then he beat Eagles into the death.
Yeah.
So
He beat quite a few reasonable players with the list and stuff like that. I mean, it's just a very solid list, and he's played it loads now. So
he has. Yeah. So
I think it's a good example of, may not be the top most painful list at that points level, but if you've got an experienced player with a competent list, he'll do well with it.
He can do well with it, for sure. No, so shout out to Connor, for sure. And then Dave Farmer, Depths of Moria. Need we say more?
I mean,
550, Balrog, Gobbo spam.
Oh, yeah, it does similar to what Baradur does, but rather than the torch, if you've got models to hold objectives.
Yes. Well, we will come on to in a little while, sort of talking a little bit more about the Depths of Moria, actually. But yeah, not very surprising. Although it's interesting to see here that now Farmer's at the point where a score like this doesn't actually help him, I don't think, at all.
Probably not.
I think I checked, and I don't think this actually puts him up at all.
Yeah. So if he's not going to win an event, he may as well just may as well give him third.
Hand it over to Sam, who's in fourth. Yes.
They've missed out on the tiebreakers.
Yes, unfortunately. I think it was a 2 VP diff between them.
Yeah, it was pretty close.
Yeah, so it's close.
It's also worth mentioning for anyone who's interested, you can go on Tabletop Admiral events, and you can see how the lists and the stats of how people did across the weekend and their game results. Because I know people are often quite interested. But yeah, it wasn't Elliot did extreme research. It's more they used the Tabletop Admiral.
I used the app. Oh well, it's a bit odd. It's not an actual app. You have to just like save the web page as an app. But like you can do that on an iPhone, So shout out to Tabletop Admiral. Okay, we shall leave it there. It's the only tournament, but shout out to those three for getting on the podium spots. So we shall move on to news from the Mark, the segment where we take a look at the individual and team standings in the GBHL, as well as discuss any recent news items from across MESBG. So kicking things off with the individual standings. Now I have updated these myself. There was quite a lot of movement after Dewey's event, even though it was only the one tournament. I also updated the team standings myself as well. So if it's slightly out, I think it was out last month because then I checked the actual rankings and the points were slightly different. So I do it the way that
Stephen Denby updated.
I know, actually did it. So direct your hate to the to the committee. No, I love the committee. Shout out, guys. But yes, in the top spot still, Dave Farmer for the Any Heroics squad. We have Jakob in second. And what's interesting here is that we've had the Any Heroics sandwich in the top 5, but it was previously Thomas Seacombe in the sandwich. It was a Any Heroics and Men of the Best sandwich, but now Connor Morris has kicked him out of there, and it's an Any Heroics Team Knots sandwich. What do you think on the change in sandwich? Is this more to your taste? Because it's a Team Knots, it's more your end.
It's still more Any Heroics. Like it's very chunky bread that you've got going on at the moment.
I guess I'm still not a fan of it because it's.
I'd quite like a bit of Seacombe lettuce still, like in the middle, along with the Connor meat or something
out
like
of
that.
there. John can hold off the bottom. Slice of bread and then get Seacombe in there. Yeah, for sure. But no, it's a little bit too packed with Any Heroics members. Although I believe Sam is now in like 11th or 12th or something. But yeah, just outside of the top 10.
Still find it hilarious. I know Gollum's game is in the top 10 this year.
I know. But we've moved even higher up on the team standings now. We had like a 0.8 lead or something last time, but now we have a 12-point cushion, which is fantastic. So I think even if Any Heroics, if one of their sort of players that isn't Farmer, Jakob, Denby or John, if any of those players win 100, I still don't think they jump us. So that 100 from Jay was very, very, very nice indeed. So a little bit of a cushion now.
Jay hasn't really been to that many events this year, and out of our, I don't know whether you want to call it like our big guns, like our players who have won GBHL hundreds before.
Because I think he contributed the last two years. He's contributed at least 100. I think 2 in 1 year or something. So
we're very spread out which I know
Yes.
we've mentioned before, but like it's quite funny how like
Yeah.
was it we've got
Well,
about 400 wins now, or maybe
I think
between
we're on
four
four
different
now.
players. Yeah,
Yeah, I think we're on four now. Where, yeah, like even until a couple months ago, Ash and Jay, both very high scorers for us previously, didn't have any good results yet, really,
and
that
then
were
even
contributing. So,
Sam Sam, who hasn't won 100 this weekend because he got fourth, would have got like 96 odd
yes, no,
points.
that
So
does, yeah. So that's what's put us up like the 12 points ahead. It was only like 10, and then Sam's actually put us up as well. But Any Heroics did climb a little bit as well because Denby and John both came in the top 10. I think Denby came fifth behind Sam, so they did have some scores go up. It just wasn't by that much because they'd already scored fairly sort of high.
it has put some significant distance between them and the Guardians as well. Which I mean, there was always a bit, but I think what was it now? 50, not quite 50, but then Guardians themselves
trying to,
yeah. So Guardians themselves have sort of put a little bit of a gap between them and Team Knox. I don't know whether that came from mainly just from Clubly getting a couple of good results.
Yes. Although Connor now for Team Knox sort of pulling them up a little bit.
And I think Luke Davies actually got a good result for Guardians
yes, he
the
did.
weekend.
Yes, I saw. Yeah.
It was a top 10.
That's interesting. I actually looked at the team rankings from the two previous years that we've done the team standings, and the Guardians have actually come fourth, I think, in both years. So. Seeing as they have Dave Clubley on their team, I'm a little bit apprehensive to say I want them to come third, if anything. But also, Team Knots have sort of not been our rival, but like they beat us last year, and like I sort of don't want to see them go third. I think I'd like Pigmar. Let's get the Pigmar
were
guys
doing
up
well. They've fallen behind though.
Yeah, but they've got some players that they've got Tom McConnell in the top 10.
Oh, yeah.
They attend lots of tournaments. I'm rooting for Pigmar to get up into third.
Yeah, and also actually, when you're the point where any Heroics and Gollum's gamers are is it's very hard for us to make big point increases now because a lot of our scores, if not all of them, are above 90.
Someone in these other teams win 100, then
they will jump up 30 points potentially.
Indeed.
So they could be closed down. Have we got any other new ones entering the top 10?
I don't think so. I think
they all look
stayed
familiar.
The same. Yeah, I think it was only Team Knots that moved up. I think Pigmar and Guardians were next to each other, and Connor's now made them jump. So up into fourth. But no, I don't think much movement outside of that. But yeah, and we're still not the highest events attended in total either. That hasn't actually been updated from doing
Any Heroics
either.
Are just such tryhards, aren't they?
Yeah, I know that whole sort of narrative that was built on us before. Oh, you throw enough at the wall, make it stick. Where are those people now? Looking at you, Jamie Wiggins.
I do wonder whether people at home are getting tired of us just having a segment as 5 minutes of self-congratulating and
Hey, if we were in 10th, we wouldn't be able to, we'd be praising Any Heroics. No, we wouldn't be doing that, would we?
That would be talking, wishing for their downfall. No.
We would be, but no.
But we're vaguely teaming up with Any Heroics for Ardacon.
We are. That's a spoiler though, Ali. Save it for the preview pod. There's a coalition going on. But okay, so I guess moving on to news items then from kind of across the GBHL. There's not too much going on. Not only the GBHL, but just like MESBG in general. There's not really too much going on in terms of like news for the game. There's been no articles or anything. There are some models and stuff that they've announced that we haven't had released yet. But
I mean, we haven't even got more narrative scenarios. Like Elliot's favorite
I thought they did
thing.
release some. I thought they did release some not too long ago. Although we do these quite frequently, so I'm not sure. I think they did anyway. But yeah, not too much in terms of like GW updates. I guess one thing from across the league is that the summer transfer window is now a thing. Ali, you mentioned. Now, I'm pretty sure when players move though, their scores don't actually go across to their new teams, do they?
So the transfer is kind of the wrong word for it. It's more a window where players who do not have a team can join a tier team.
Yes,
so
but if
you can't leave a team and then join another team, basically.
Oh, okay. But if you don't have a team and you do that, do your scores transfer over? I thought they didn't.
I can't remember.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't think that was the case because
it's very rarely it's happened in a significant way.
Because I don't think you can just join and then points transfer, and it's like, oh yeah, we've got loads of points now. because we're looking at any heroics, trying not to bring on board members with points that will help their score. We stick with our team, you know. But that is our thing. So if you're not in a GBHL team, you want to join a GBHL team. I'm not sure if you can create a new team though.
Possibly. I mean, if you got any questions, just ask Dewey or Denby, basically.
We're not involved in the league. We just cover it. So, direct your questions to those people on the relevant Facebook pages. One thing I thought we could cover briefly is that there was an article released by the GBHL. This is what I was alluding to earlier, about like what the best lists in the game are. Will people need to think too hardly about that question? Maybe not, but the top 3 performing lists at the moment in the GBHL. So there's a tie in second place, actually, between the Eagles and Army of the White Hand. Not very surprising. A drum roll for the number 1 performing list. Ali King, what do you think?
I'm presuming it's Depths of Moria.
It's the Depths of Moria.
I actually haven't read the article, so...
No. Didn't need to read it. There you go. Yes. But be sure to go and read it. Harry Barker puts a lot of effort into those articles for sure. But yeah, top 3 lists in the game. And I guess we'll come onto it a little bit later, sort of in our question as well. But do you see anything kind of dethroning these lists from either the Legacies or the Armies of Middle Earth? Do you see any of them dropping slightly? Just your take on those 3 lists being the top of our game at the moment.
Before we do, I'll shout out Jack Canavan though, because he's the person who's compiling this data for the league. So
I've seen the spreadsheet, looks very nice.
Shout out Jack. And so it does take. It's not just GBHL 100 events; it's all events. So
yes.
Which, depending how you look at it, may actually give a more well-rounded idea of what lists are better, or you could say that because it may include less competitive events, it's not. But you can see the breakdown of the different armies that have done well or not done well. In terms of what list do I think they still stay up there? A lot of it. If we were to start from 0 today, Depths will still do well. White Hand will still do well. Eagles, I don't think will.
You think there was just a little bit of a period earlier on where people weren't sort of too sure?
I think it's a fad, and also it's a kind of points determined army. It's like you're not no Eagles list has won that I'm aware of anyway. A 2-day event which is over 700 points in the UK anyway.
Did it podium the GP though?
Did they podium in GP? No, they didn't. John finished like 6th with them, and I think it was the highest.
You won it, didn't you? Sorry,
I didn't win the GP. I came third.
You not?
Yeah, it was Farmer.
I think you had something to do with that. Yeah.
No, Matt Light won it.
Fine.
Farmer came second. And there's so many more lists now. I think you'll just see a bigger spread of diversity, and so. They will still do well, Depths and White Hand, because people know they're good and they are still good. Whereas you may have other good lists that come through, but because they're not a known quantity yet, there will be less people just using them generally. So it's kind of one of those ones where they may have the most success still, but it doesn't mean they are the best, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think Depths isn't just the bonuses that you get and just the Balrog being as good as it is. It's just and like at higher points it even scales to high points because you can just add in the Watcher. There's just so many different ways that you can go with it, high or low, and it just does what it does really well.
I also think in the UK we're going to see a lot more list diversity at the next couple of events, just as people try new things.
Yes, and that it was a case I think somewhat at Dewey's event, but obviously that was lower points, so it kind of restricts things to a certain extent. But we've got Bubbles coming up, Articon, so there's
and actually that's the other thing.
Hundreds.
So Bubbles is allowing Legacy, Articon isn't allowing Legacy. So
interesting.
You're almost going to be operating in a sub meta depending on which one you go in. So it'd be interesting, but I still expect those two. You may, with the new scenarios as well, see other armies which, like Frangel's Horse, for example, may start to do better.
Yeah,
they've got
obviously we're looking at
people.
if we're looking at these lists, obviously excelling through the first 6 or so months of the year where we only had 6 scenarios. So now that has been quadrupled. So
Yeah. And the other thing is, as the meta will, at least at the top, turns around, like people go, oh, let's just say like depths is really good, or
yeah, as something else
there's like I'm going to
rises,
take something that will be
yeah,
able to beat that list, and then so
yeah,
no,
yes,
but yeah, it's
um,
those two will still be good though.
yeah, for sure, I think so. And I guess the last bit of news, other than that, I've just noticed that we're sort of matching, Ali. We're both wearing stripes today. You see that?
Oh yeah,
Have you only
it's,
just clocked?
it's
Yeah.
Stripes Monday.
I was like, oh, you're wearing stripes as well. And
It's
like
New
we're
Gollum's
almost the
Gamers
same colour as
uniform.
well. That's sweet. Yeah. I only wear this shirt when I pod because it's really itchy. So I don't actually wear it out, but I can wear it for an hour while we pod. So there you go.
The viewers are so happy to know about that now.
I know. It's interesting. The final bit of news, which I've already mentioned, but I'm going to plug it again, is that in August, I'm going to be streaming at Ardacon, baby. There's a stream happening, in case you didn't know, at Ardacon. I mentioned it half an hour ago.
I mean, what we're
16th
plugging
and 17th
then,
of
stuff
August.
we did half an hour ago. There's the Lemon
You what,
Cup.
sorry?
There's the Lemon
yes.
Cup for
Well,
the double plug.
That's for you to jump in. Yes, the Lemon Cup.
Lemon Cup in September. Be there.
Well, that's actually in September, yes. So but there won't be another MESBG Monthly until after Ardacon has passed. So I'm getting all my plugs in there while I can. Go and check it out, the stream, if you're free. 16th, 17th of August, baby. I'll see you guys there. Anyway, moving on from news from the mark, we have the upcoming events. As we mentioned, we have 2 GBHL 100s next month in August. So first of all, we have One Ring to Rule the Bubbles, ran by Ali's brother, Matt King. Shout out to Matt. And then also Ardacon, as I've mentioned many times. So Bubbles is 6 games at 800 points, and Ardacon is 7 games at 700 points. So, Ali, we have a list here on the screen for the Spotify listeners, which is a list that you are not taking to Ardacon at 700 points, but you would consider being something that could do very well at Ardacon. Would you like to tell us why, other than simply saying that it has +1 to wound spears and it's very good?
And it's dwarves. And like,
yes.
it's amazing.
Tell us why.
So, Ardacon, as mentioned, 700 points, no legacies, which is in like it rules out some lists that I may have considered and stuff like that competitive. So I mean, I don't know if people know, but I like dwarves. So
he doesn't mind them that much.
No, I'm partial to the odd dwarf. Yeah. But yeah, no. So just to quickly run through the list for the audio listeners, it's a Dwarf King, Gloin, Champion of Airborne, and Gimli are your heroes. And then it's 34 models. You've got 2 goat riders, you have 9 crossbows, and then the rest of the dwarves are spears and shield, and you've got a guy with banner in there as well. So 34 models is okay at 700. It's slightly lower, but then you are a very elite army, so you can't win it all, basically. The old, for every 20 points, you want to have 1 model metric. It's falling just below that, but you're at the same break.
Doesn't quite apply. That was kind of a last edition thing.
I still think it's relevant.
It does still
as a
sort
guide.
of apply. Yeah. But as a guide, but like it's now skewed a little bit the other way, slightly, just with how the points, everything costs more.
I mean, even last edition, it was kind of you wanted slightly more models if you could, but anyway, model counts solid, not spectacular. You've got 9 crossbows, which is a significant shooting threat without being dominant and reliant on it. I like having little squads of 3 crossbows, which you can put on your like home objectives or stuff like that. So while the rest of the army runs up the board,
nice little triangle.
They can shoot all directions and anyone who's coming at you, and then they're still fight 4 D6 strength 4 in combat. So they're pretty good at holding the objectives if you need to. So a lot of people, when they're looking at army of Erebor, like going for 4 in Stonehelm, I think his profile's fine, but it's not what I'm looking for on the list. One, with dwarves, even though you got a couple of great riders, you still need March for some of these scenarios. So you have to take a Dwarf King, who is quite good value anyway, fight 6. You can just leave him at the back of your army as well to protect the leader points. And then you've got Gloin and Gimli, who, for those who don't know in the list, get to reroll wounds when they're within sort of 3 inches of each other. So it makes them both incredibly reliable killing machines in combat.
Killing machines, folks.
Yeah. And I mean, that's with Gollum getting his 4 strikes anyway when he's outnumbered. So he should be chopping things through. He doesn't get he still gets -1 though, because you can't get Ori in this list. So sad face for that.
I think you've been spoiled for not having -1. You do know that every other 2-hand model has to accept if they don't roll a 6 and they roll a 5, then they've actually rolled a 4. Yeah, that is a thing.
But it massively helps out Gimli anyway with him being able to reroll, because he doesn't have the +1 or the 3 attacks depending which way you go. It means you can go 3 and then he is reliable. And then all the heroes get a 3 heroic combat as well. So you could do full on like Alpha Strike with those 3 heroes and just remove about, I don't know, if you're lucky, like 10 models. Probably not quite that many, but it saves some might. In some ways, you can be like, it's not a 8 might list, it is a 11 might list.
Yes, I would agree.
And then, I mean, you've got Iron Hills dwarves who are a little bit more killy with the spearmen behind. They're very hard to kill and they hit quite hard. I don't think the +1 to wound on the spears is as game breaking as people think it is.
It's not game breaking,
but it's a nice bonus, but it's not.
It makes the line better, but it's not gonna
because it's essentially meaning in a combat where instead of needing 2, you've got 2 attacks both needing 5s to wound. It'll be 2 attacks, 1 will need 4s to wound instead.
Yeah,
so
I feel though like some people, we could have some comments saying, but oh my god, these are fight for D8 models that are now +1 to wound. This is so insanely good. We're not trying to downplay that it is a good addition to just be handed to Iron Hills dwarves. It is, but is it going to make
the amount of combats it makes a difference is probably less than you think.
And is it going to be that over 7 games at Ardacon you're going to table your opponents in all of them because you have +1? No, like it's.
The area it makes more of a difference is when you're trying to take down big heroes or monsters or something like that, who you would normally maybe struggle to wound, and then you maybe you're trapping with the spear support, because as soon as you start multiplying those dices and those heroes which maybe need 6s to wound, it's more significant doing a wound against them than it would just be against an Orc or an Uruk-hai, for example. So it's very useful, but it's not +1 to wound on everyone, basically.
Yes,
and it's a specific situation.
Rolling over armies just because you have +1.
So. But just to summarize, you've got 3 fight 6 heroes, 2 have got strike. You get 3 heroic combats. 2 of your heroes are very killy when they're within each other. You have some movability in the goats, and you're just a solid chunk of dwarves.
Yes. A solid chunk of dwarf. That's what he likes. Now, why aren't you taking this dwarf list, though? I'm setting you up here.
Spoilers, because someone else may be in my team.
And because you are...
planning on taking Khazad-dûm.
Another dwarf list was where I was alluding to.
Yeah. Oh, I can tell people I'm taking. If someone's going to tailor to beat Khazad-dûm, then fine.
We're looking at you, the Aussies and the Americans.
Yeah. No, I'm giving the Khazad-dûm some love and having my first games with them at
yes, of course, you haven't used them in the new edition. Yes, now, but we are looking to defend our Ardacon crown, because last year was the GBHL All Stars team, which had many members of the Gollum's Gamers in. Where this year there is no GBHL All Stars; it's more the Gollum's Gamers All Stars. Really, well, not so much the Gollum's Gamers All Stars, more the Gollum's Gamers. Yes, exactly. We are the number 1 team. It's just a Gollum's Gamers team and friends.
Specifically from one heavy hitter anyway, definitely from
yes. So we are looking to keep the crown on home turf is the aim of the event on stream, hopefully as well. Okay, I think that is going to do it for the upcoming events. So we are just about ready to close things out. But first, our final segment, a one question to rule them all, where we close out every episode with a question from the audience. So be sure to leave your question down in the comments here on YouTube. But today we have a question from Fabid. 6602, I believe is how you would say that, who says, it is currently clear that some army lists are too strong due to their special rules. For example, Depths of Moria, Army of the White Hand, which we spoke about. All this ties in together, while others appear to be too weak. For example, Army of Thrall, which would make Ali very sad. Numenor, Gothmog's Legion, and Legion of Mordor. What are your suggestions for improving the overall balance of the game? What a fantastic question. What do you think,
I own 3 out of 4 of those lists painted and ready to use in Army of
the
Thor,
ones
Numenor, and Gothmog's Legion.
From the bad, yeah. He has to. It's the bad lists that he owns, folks. It's not the good ones. He would never use good lists. No.
Wow. Some of them became good this edition, to be fair.
That's not your fault, though.
Yeah.
So, what do you think?
I mean, I think it's easier to point out ways to fix bad lists usually, or weaker lists. It's like Army of Thor, there's 2 main things that screwed them over from not necessarily being top table, but competitive is one, Dwarf always went up a point. If they go down a point, they'll be like fine. I'm not saying they'll win events, but they're definitely competitive. And then I'm going to guess unintended consequences of the throwing weapon 1/3, limiting the Grim Hammers. I think if they had an exception as an army bonus in that rule, then they would be fine. Numenor, I would give them shield wall probably, because sometimes there's some problems in, you're like, cool, we could just get Warriors of Numenor +1 defense. And they'll be fine, but then actually it may make the last alliance.
Now, though, so
I mean, it may make the last alliance list too good at that point if they are D6. So I think Shield Wall, again, it's one of those things they're a little bit in the middle. Gothmog's Legion, they need a hero with strike, basically, because it is a solid list otherwise. But it's just there going. From having used them at the start of the year, you really struggle once you're just waiting for your opponent to flood their dice rolls. Legions of Mordor, I couldn't comment on so much, but
so the Legion of Mordor is just where you only get the bonus. It's like it's one of those lists that only has like 1 small bonus or something because it's got tons of things in.
I think Legions of Mordor is actually probably a bit better now because you get everything. As in, it's one of the MASH lists which has benefited a lot from Legacy and the additional profiles. But no, often it's very difficult, I think, to tune army lists with just purely a special rule or an army bonus, because you can overcook it very easily. Or it can be very underwhelming. The thing that most of these lists have is a lack of diversity in effective troop options. So you don't have problems you can solve. Like Numenor has 1 troop choice.
Numenor and Gothmog.
If you put some cavalry in there, it actually made Numenor suddenly a lot more viable.
Everyone thought we were going to get Numenor Cav for a while, didn't we? But that ended up not being a thing.
Yeah, and same with Army of Thor, you don't have really any shooting. You don't have any Cav. So as soon as the Air Warriors went up a point, it then massively hurt that list because it's basically every army you're taking has to have 2/3 Air Warriors. So and
I think it's almost like he's asking those sort of oh, but maybe then if those lists do have those problems, why can't we just add in some special rule to bring them more up to speed, such as what Depths and Army of the White Hand have? But like I say, you can very easily overtune something.
Actually, Dale was a good example of that, I think, from coming out this edition. So in theory, it's exactly the same as it was last edition, other than the Wind Lancers can do things now. But as soon as they then gave them the +1 to wound effect, it suddenly completely transforms that army, despite the fact that...
let's put it in half of the board all the time, blanket.
So it's one of those ones where it's gone from being a very mid-army at best to being one of the top lists purely just because of that one thing. So whereas,
be careful.
And until you do it, and hundreds of players play it, it can be quite hard to sort of...
You can just envision Jay Clare sat there with the button, sweating, just do I add in the +1 to wound? How is this going to go? And then actually,
I think the mistake on that, if they just left it at a 3-inch bubble rather than a 6, and then you didn't get the deployment buff, then it'd probably be fine. But it's one of those ones where... and then I mean, nerfing things is always controversial because some people are like, no, don't hurt my toys. Like,
Yeah. So it's like, do you bring other things up, but then
it's always easier to bring 2
power
armies
creep and all
down
that?
than bring 20 armies up, basically.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
just
And
from
it's also, there is an element of like, I think in every sort of like, I've been a big World of Warcraft player my whole life. Like, I think in lots of these sort of competitive, you're always going to have things that are more towards the bottom of the pile. There's there is no sort of world, I think, where everything is perfectly balanced. He isn't asking that, he's asking about improving it. I think you're always going to have things that are weaker and underperform. But I guess there are certain situations where some of those lists, like Numenor for example, and things like, can still do decently, but they're not as easy to do as well with as these other lists.
Taking depths and actually Armored White Hand as well as examples of depths. The Balrog actually not being able to break thing is fine generally. I think it's the board wide banner.
Oh yeah, that is
for a list that's meant to be tied to the Balrog. When you've got a board wide banner, like, the list is just incredibly annoying, even if they don't have the Balrog, because it can be
shielding goblins with 3 dice for 5 points.
Whereas if they just did like the banner effect again coming from the Balrog instead, that would be fine. That's a kind of example of it over tuning. Army of the White Hand, I don't actually think it's their special rule. I think it's the presence of Grimmer and how he works.
Yeah, no, the special rule, to be fair, isn't. Yeah, like, you do have to. You would think the special rules, obviously the lightning being like the main one, and it does sort of change how you play. Like, it can take out like a banner and things like this, but like it's not going to lose you a game. It's not insanely oppressive where you immediately lose.
And the thing with White Hand is it's got a lot of truth options and abilities and stuff like that. So it's kind of it has all of the tools. It's a horde army which does traditionally well at most points. You have answers to monsters and stuff. So it's actually quite a well balanced list. It's just, which makes it competitive, which is fine. I think for most people, it's the lightning and Grimmer they don't like. The lightning on its own is fine. Realistically, it's a one-off kind of thing.
Yes. It's Grimmer,
maybe
I think.
Reduce the suit, but it's Grimmer kind of like, and the combo just stops you being able to get past it, and a lot of Snides has always got an advantage. But so in terms of improving the game overall, how do you do it? I mean, if we're going like complete from scratch, you could just point units specific to their list. So rather than going let's just say an Orc Warrior is 5 points or 6 points in Mordor, whatever it is, you could say, actually, we're going to make it 7 points in Army of the White Hand because it's got more value in that list. Or like, because then it enables you to balance the list internally. Because we can't ally anymore anyway.
Rather balancing a profile across loads of different.
I think that would be a way you could balance each list, and then it means that when we get an FAQ or something like that, you can just be like, cool, we've worked out Black Numenorians, when they're in a list of Harbinger, are probably worth a point more than when they're not. Although that's not relevant anymore, I don't think. But anyway, that's an example from last edition.
Everyone would understand that example. So, I think in an effort to not, the game is already the state of the books and the army list building and everything at the moment is complicated enough as it is. So unless they want to go back to how it was before and then balance it in that way that you said, but they can't be having 6 books you need to check. Oh, and now also each profile is different in each list as well.
And there's also an important thing to think about. Balance really varies depending on who you ask. Like, some people will say that thing's broken. Like, for example, if you happen to live in the Southwest at the moment, you hate dragons and you hate eagles, and they're the most horribly broken thing in the world. If you ask some of the Australians on the pod, they're like, what the hell are you on about? Eagles are, like, terrible or something like that.
Glorfindel's the best model in the game,
And so everyone has their own sub-meta, which you're not aware of, really, until you start playing other people, or like
watching the Ardacon stream in 2 weeks time.
Ardacon's always quite interesting for that, because you do have an international mix. It's like
it's a mixing pot of
because I know throughout the years, like, this is last edition, we never used to like think about the Watcher being particularly good for ages in the UK, and then
suddenly
Kylie actually came over from Ardacon, and we're like, oh, you know what, I kind of get it now.
This is actually pretty good. And then it started. Oh, and equally, I like that with a bat and Black Numenorians and shit. Yeah.
And equally, this is a long time ago. I remember when the Brits went over to Nova, and the Americans at the time didn't really understand how to use magic, and then so they just got introduced to magic and got like destroyed.
Let me compel you and kill you. Yeah, you're dead.
That's
now.
like 10 odd years ago now, though. So I think the Americans have caught on.
Showing his age here, folks. Did you go to Nova, or you weren't?
No,
part
I
of
never
that
have
trip?
been.
Oh, okay, I was going to say. Fine. Maybe we'll have a Gollum's Gamers trip one day. How lemon would that be?
If you could win us like all a trip, like that'd be handy.
Or when we start making millions from our empire of the Gollum's Gamers. I highly doubt that's going to happen.
So comment below and like and subscribe.
Yes,
and then one day maybe we'll be able to afford to go to the States.
We can travel the world playing MSBG and making podcasts and lemon content. But thank you very much for your question. If you have a question for next time, be sure to leave it down in the comments here on YouTube. But any closing thoughts, Ali? Excited for the Articon stream? Excited for the Lemon Cup? Ali's going to be at Articon. We're sharing.
I'm doing 2 events in 1 month for the first time in like 2 years.
Yeah, I'm doing. So I've actually done Dewey's, then a weekend off, then Bubbles, then a weekend off, then Articon. So I'm doing 3 in 6 weeks. So it's back to my 2023 days. Or no, 2023.
I think Farmer's going for your record though this year, isn't he? Basically,
it's not actually my record now. It's Jamie's record. So.
How did Jamie beat you?
I did have for anyone that doesn't know, we've had loads of subscribers. If you're here at the very end of the podcast, I did have a 24 event year, which broke the record in the GBHL at the time, which I was very proud of. Everyone else thought I was incredibly sad for being proud of that. I'm not actually proud of it. It's just kind of cool. But it did end up being like an event every 2 weeks almost for an entire year. So
you took Christmas off.
Which then meant more events. So lots of tournaments. Although now I'm known for not really going to many tournaments at this point, so it's weird how the pendulum swings. As are you, Ali? You don't,
I haven't gone to loads of tournaments for years though. I tend to bump along to about between 6 and 8. Maybe
I used to go to like
I
used to go to 90s and things where now I don't, so I just go to 100s. But okay, I think that is going to close us out. So thank you very much everyone for watching another episode of MESBG Monthly here, the Gollum's Gamers.